Jiu Jitsu in Queensland wasn't built in stadiums. It was built in small rooms, on worn mats, by people who kept showing up. And it was shaped on the competition circuit, weekend after weekend, match after match. Over time, those rooms became academies. The students became coaches, and a community took shape. This series is an archive of that journey. The gyms, the philosophies, the challenges, the wins, and the circuit that connects them all. Not just who won the medals, but who built the rooms, where it all started. This is Australian Jiu Jitsu, the Queensland chapter.
Yeah, I started Jiu Jitsu when I was very young. I started Jiu Jitsu when I was 7 years old. Back in my first competition, I remember, was in '92. That's a long time ago. That's just telling me how old I am. Yeah. But yeah, I started Jiu Jitsu when I was 7 years old. And I was very fortunate to have a lot of support from my parents, from the coaches everywhere. And then, unfortunately, I stopped Jiu Jitsu for 5 years, from 7 to actually 13. And when I was 13, I was able to come back to the Jiu Jitsu again. And then I never stopped since, let's say, if we count 7 to 8 and 13 to 42 years old, that's how I am here. I've been training for over 10 years. So how I ended up in Australia, that was funny to say, because basically it was a little, let's say, the planets like align and then make me come here, because it wasn't my plan at all to live in Australia. Basically, I was living in USA. I was fighting MMA. I was about to sign with UFC actually. They told me, you need a visa for that, Daniel. So I was about to get a short notice and strike force back in the year. My MMA career was doing very well. And then they're like, you cannot stay here, Daniel. You have to go home and then come back after Christmas. That's what they told me. So I went back home. I spent a little time fighting and training back in Brazil for a year, and I hurt myself. I ended up going to Canada, fighting there, blah, blah. I had 2 fights between that gap, and I hurt my knee ACL. And then that took me like a year to recover from the surgery in Brazil. And then literally I was training at the gym, and someone said like, you speak good English, Daniel. Would like to go to Australia? I was like, what? And then it's funny because the first time they told me, I put it to Google, and the first thing that coming was Byron Bay. That was actually, I was original. And Byron Bay, the topless coming with the girls, and my ex-wife, she looked at me just like, you're not gonna go to Byron Bay, they're doing topless at the beach. I was like, no, it's okay. So that's how I ended up here. And then my old team, Novignon, they had a lot of different schools here back in there, a lot of black belts looking after the Novignon here. And then Marcelino was here already, so I come with Rodolfo, and that's like been 13 years living. That's a paradise. Yeah, when I come to Queensland and then show up the Jiu-Jitsu scene here in Queensland. So basically, originally I was teaching in Byron Bay. I was there basically for 7 years coaching, but I moved to Gold Coast 2 years after that. And as my Professor Bruno, he's always telling me, since I was living with him in Dallas, Texas, he said, look, if you come to like a new place, you need to make sure you're gonna compete every single comp to make sure people's gonna know who you are. And that way you're gonna actually be able to coach in and have more exposure. So that's what I did. I come to Queensland and started competing here. It's funny because I was driving sometimes a lot to train over here. Back in the day, I was coming, training in Brisbane with Basha, Southside with BC, doing Daniel Lima, go different clubs because of my gym back there was a lot of white belts. But that's when I actually was able to show to everyone who I am, winning basically for the, I don't know, maybe for the first 5 years, winning basically all of the comps that I was doing, and it become a national states, Pacific, Asian, whatever. Accumulate all these achievements, yeah, that was pretty cool. Well, Jiu-Jitsu back when I arrived here, I'd probably say, 13 years ago, special how Australia was not too bad, but it was very amateur. as a referee as well. I remember that I actually start getting, when I started referee, that's when we start actually getting paid, understanding how professional that should be. And Queensland wasn't bad at all. Was not many black belts in 13 years. I see so many black belts arriving. We have so many academies. Wasn't not many gyms as well. But what I can say, I'm very fortunate to live actually in Queensland. I believe the Jiu-Jitsu in Queensland, the way how the federation looking after, is probably one of the best. That's why we have a lot of academies. That's why we have a lot of people moving to here. So wasn't amateur, but it was small. And now it's like way better. I believe the main thing that Jiu-Jitsu changed over the years in Australia, and I would probably say special in Queensland, was being professional. I think it's very important to be professional in everything that you do in areas. We can see a lot of other sports that are not very professional, and what happened is become a little bit messy. So I think being professional, the gyms have like a proper curriculum, looking after the students, the federation, like looking after everyone, try to do his best with like a special, I believe when Daniel Almeida took it over, changed a lot as well, because he started understanding, putting everything in the right line. I believe things like referees should be paid, not voluntary, like people's working should be paid, not voluntary, you know what I mean? Like people should get money when they compete. That's Daniel does sometimes, like run prix, paying price, paying money. Things like that change a lot. And you see a lot of gyms in Queensland actually having an amazing jiu-jitsu, amazing environment, clean gym, stuff like that. That's, I think, changed. Jiu-jitsu old school was a lot of more like, let's have a fight, let's train, let's go watch the gi, let's do it. So it's changing hips. I come for that actually time. That Jiu-Jitsu was kind of this way. So I believe that was changing, like it's important to have a good environment. Well, how I can see the Jiu-Jitsu for the future in Queensland in general, I think Jiu-Jitsu is one of the biggest martial art at the moment, and then as well, that doesn't stop growing. You know, it's every single day you see a Jiu-Jitsu academy opening somewhere. I believe the Jiu-Jitsu is gonna keep growing, especially for the kids. I normally say, I have two things that I normally say. One is the difference of Jiu-Jitsu of the other martial arts, especially for kids, anti-bullying. When they go to school, they can protect themselves, or any place. I believe is once. Jiu-Jitsu is the only martial art that actually can play with your back on the ground. You know, someone can take you down, and then you're gonna be on the ground, protect yourself, and it can still be dangerous with that. And I believe in Jiu-Jitsu as well is the other good one as well. It's one of the martial arts that actually you can hold the situation. Let's say a kid have issues at the school, someone punch, he's gonna punch him back. If you punch him back, he's gonna be in trouble. So he actually can control the situation, hold the other kid, and secure the position, put the kid there, and then not gonna be in trouble. I have this example at my school. I have this example with my kids as well. They did that and they were safe. So that's what I believe why the Jiu-Jitsu is gonna grow a lot, because it's one of the best martial arts. Well, my advice is always, if you compete, it's always gonna help you to grow inside and outside of the match. I believe your life actually changes when you're able to actually challenge yourself competing. And training Jiu-Jitsu, it's gonna change your life. It's a lifestyle. I believe everyone should be training Jiu-Jitsu, to be honest. Competing or not competing. But I am a competitor, come from a competition team. So what I'm gonna tell you, just please don't give up. Just keep pushing, keep doing what you love to do.